we've talked about children before. I'm very familiar with Toms. It's all my daughters use, so very familiar with their ad campaigns and everything else. And that actually kind of leads to this next point, where we were talking about the alignment between your content with your mission. And so when you said Toms, that was kind of the first thing that came into mind, because we all know Toms is a natural brand. We understand what Tom's mission is. If you've seen anything about their marketing, it stands out to you. But for some of the other marketers, B2B marketing, for instance, some of the other clients that we work with, it's not as clearly defined as just having it on a tub of toothpaste. So, how, when we're thinking that purpose led content matrix and really getting that alignment, how does incorporating that purpose into your content creation really contribute to that identity for a brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's essential, it's how you establish your brand identity, right? Like we were just talking about, by consistently tying your content back to your brand purpose, you're telegraphing to your audience that like, hey, this is what we do. We specialize in this, and this is the position that we're trying to fill in your reality. So it gives you, from a marketing or content creation perspective, like the frame, right? You have a solid frame, and your job, I think, in content, if you're doing it strategically, is to, stay within that frame. So you can always call back to, when you have your purpose defined, is what we're talking about here delivering on that purpose? Is it helping serve this purpose with our audience X versus audience Y? So you can filter through your different audience segments and say, how does this purpose connect to them? What are the challenges that this specific audience is facing with regard to, the problem, overarching problem that we're here to solve for them? And then you have both, relevance and tailored content creation, but it's still carving out a specific identity and associating with you with something very specific, like in their minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that. And do you have any ideas or advice steps that these brands can take when they're thinking about this purpose led content and the strategy for what that looks like in their content and messaging?
Yeah, so when we're engaging with clients, we have what we call, a content blueprint that we kind of help them set up to both keep connected storytelling, really like reinforce that strategically across their strategy, and then to inform the outflow and the atomization process, so like content creation, how we're going to handle that. So the first step, there's really like five essential steps, and the first step is what we just talked about, like knowing your purpose, making that the north star of your storytelling framework. So what's your purpose as a brand, and the point of view? This is really important. What's your unique point of view that you're bringing to? So, for Tom's of Maine, that was helping others live a more natural life, right? Below that, the second step is, okay, you've got your core purpose. Now establish your pillar themes. So these are the areas where you've got, specific value or expertise to offer your target audience. And it's often like three or four sort of major challenges that they're facing that relate back to what you do as a brand. So the major challenges that you're helping people solve. And then step three is mapping out how those themes touch each audience and maybe industry segment that you're targeting. And that's giving you, when you think through that, you're getting the subtopics that you need to hit on with your individual content pieces. So your outflow of content is tying back to your major themes, which is tying back to your overarching purpose. And then there's another step that I think sometimes gets overlooked, which is, mapping out the key moments. So thinking about topics also in terms of timeliness. What times of the year is this challenge maybe more prevalent for my audience, or is it a better time to introduce like this particular topic or maybe launch a campaign? And then fifth is sort of the tailoring and customization aspect of everything, which is mapping out your key channels and formats. So considering each audience, where do we need to reach them? What formats should we be using to have an impact? Like, how do they prefer to consume content on this channel? And you can templatize those elements so that you're creating core assets that tie back to your major themes, and then distilling those and dropping them into your customized assets at the sort of like channel activation and audience level.